Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 horror Pollen. The film is written and directed by D.W. Meadoff and it stars Ava Rose Kynard, Tyler Buckingham, Leanna Adams, and Ashley Ames. Now the film focuses on Ava Rose Kynard's character, Hera, who is an ambitious young woman who is trying to make her way in I think it's an advertising firm. She's trying to climb the ladder. She's trying to carve out a career for herself. However, the office is full of misogynistic, sexist, male workers and female bosses that feel threatened by her, and she's finding it increasingly difficult to settle in this job. And certainly has very little opportunity to climb the ladder. She essentially is tricked by a co-worker, Zach, who is above her, into sleeping with him. She thinks that it's going to be a real relationship. He's basically just using her. And then it makes her life far more difficult at work. There's bullying and harassment and sexual harassment taking place. However, Zach, when first meeting her, trying to woo her, gives her this plant. And as soon as this plant is in her house, she starts experiencing strange dreams of this tree monster. And slowly but surely, she starts losing grip on reality, which heads for a confrontation between her and her co-workers. Right, what are my thoughts on Pollen? Well, this is a very, very odd film. It's a very hard film to describe in a lot of ways. For me, it's also a film that showed a lot of promise. Now, with this being a low-budget film, and it is a low-budget film, let's be clear on that. It's not like micro-budgeted or anything, but it's a low-budget independent film. It gets a lot of things right in a sense of, I think for the most part the direction's of a good standard, the performances are of a good standard by everybody, but in particular Ava Rose Kynard, who plays Hera, who has to carry this film and gives a very impressive performance, quite a complex layered performance by her, of this woman who is not only struggling in the workplace to kind of stand on her own 2 feet, without being obstructed by, sexism in the workplace and so on and so forth. She balances that really well, that stuff that's going on at the work about this vulnerable woman that's working really hard to be independent, and then the other side of the coin that she works well at and does a good job at, is this woman as well that's kind of losing her sanity in a lot of ways and having these strange dreams of this tree monster that, is it real? Is it not? Is she losing her grip on sanity, or is something more sinister happening? And the film not only keeps you guessing, but her performance as well keeps you guessing. And I thought she was easily the best thing in this film. But saying that, as a film and a horror in particular, it just does not make any bloody sense. I can't for the life of me figure out what really was going on, other than this film trying to tell, I suppose you could argue, an important message about, females in the workplace and some of the obstacles they have to face, like I say, with sexual harassment and misogyny and bullying, all that kind of stuff that many people have to face in the workplace, and not just women, but this focus particularly on her character. So it has something important to say there, but beyond that, this probably would have worked better as a drama, because I couldn't for the life of me see and understand why this was a horror. Because A, it's not scary, B, this tree monster makes no sense. I'm presuming it's linked to this plant that's given to her, but there's no explanation as to why this plant is doing these things to her, because it was given to her by this guy Zach who she worked with, and he's got no ill intentions. He's not handing out tree monsters to people. You know, it's not him that's doing it, it's him that's being the sexist at work and all this kind of stuff. So I just couldn't make that connection. Is this film more about mental health, or was there really a tree monster? For me, it doesn't give us enough tangible evidence either way to make your own conclusion. So what you're left with here is a film that, on one side of it, is trying to say something, maybe important, and then on the other side of it, it's trying to scare you. And I just think this would have probably worked better as a drama, because the dramatic elements of this film are far better than the horror elements that this film tries to portray. It's just not scary, and it feels a little bit silly at times, and it doesn't. Sometimes you can watch like a film like this that is, you know, it's trying to do a few things. You know, it's trying to be a drama, it's trying to be a horror, it's trying to be a thriller. You know what I mean? Things like Hereditary that do things like that expertly well. And then they finish with this massively impactful ending that kind of leaves you shook up. And you can kind of think at the end of it then, oh, well, okay, I can justify why that's a horror. Again, this one, no, I just didn't really buy. The structure of the film, the horror in the film, and the ending of the film, none of it kind of justified any that came before. So it's a weird film to recommend. It's, as a horror, it doesn't work at all. As a drama, it's got moments in it that I think are warranted and definitely have something important to say. But if I'm judging this as a horror, which is what it's describing itself as, I just don't think it's very good at all. So it's a bit of an oddity, this one. If you do like looking at horrors that are trying to do something really different, there might be stuff here for you to enjoy, but don't go into this thinking this is going to be like some kind of scare fest, because it is absolutely not that at all. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you find it useful. I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.